Hey there, fellow traveler. I see you made it to the other side of that total eclipse, and now we are in a new lunar cycle, the lunacy of a new lunar cycle. And you know, not all lunacy is such a bad thing. There's something about the lunar energy really building at this time with the lead up to the full partial lunar eclipse in Pisces going down on the 28th of this month. If you're in Eastern Standard Time, if you're in Pacific Standard Time, it will be going down on the 27th. So it all depends on where you are at, and this should be an interesting one. It does make me think of the degree that full moon will be coming in at. It's going to be coming in at 4 degrees Pisces, and it's going to be coming in at the same degree with the Virgo sun, which will be opposite. So that's an interesting dynamic there in and of itself that gives a little nod to the shift in the nodes of destiny, and perhaps a little bit of a review, a completion, seeing something we didn't understand or maybe was left held over from the old cycle that is closing up at this time. But there's like one big revealing moment that sort of ties everything together. And there's also a decision that needs to be made with this. There's something coming through about getting through artifice, getting down to something very simplified. Something's become too convoluted. There's too many errors. There's too many false faces. There's too much superficiality. You need to scratch the surface, go a little bit deeper. And so we're going to see what this is. That's coming from the more heady angle, and yet at the same time I feel like this different kind of current of energy come in. It's probably because it's Leo season. It's a little bit more light, carefree, playful, a little dashing, daring, throw caution to the wind, wanting to get out of the doldrums, you know, living while you can instead of being subject to the zombies of the past and the hold they have over your brain. That is coming to a close with the world there. What is fixed is in a state of transmutation. And that was something that was quite interesting about that full partial lunar eclipse in Pisces that is coming in. Isn't that funny? Full partial. It's like, wait a minute, which is it? Is it half full? Or is it half empty? I don't know. It's all dependent on your perspective, really. But if you're on Eastern Standard Time, that full moon will be coming in on the 28th of August at 12:18 a.m. And I thought that was fascinating because 12 is the 12th house of Pisces. And then 18 aligns with the moon in the major arcana, also Pisces card. So I do feel like there's a blind spot. There's a blind spot that has to be faced. And it could be something that's sort of resurfacing from the past. But it also has this quality to it that in acknowledging whatever this blind spot is and seeing it, something you didn't see before about the past cycle, it infuses you with a little bit of vim and vigor. It's got that quality of it's alive, you know, something about this. Seeing something that you weren't able to see back there, it gives like this new, fresh dose of enthusiasm. And it's what's needed in order to enter into the new cycle on the other side of that eclipse. With the bat medicine there, it's initiation into the moon's mysteries through first a great revealing of something from the past you couldn't see before. And this is what gives the courage to transform. And with that comes a little bit of luck. Also, your location, your internal location devices will be really attuned at that time. You're definitely going to be on track with your soul's GPS about the next steps there. But in the meantime, there's a lot of hungry ghosts still kind of like lingering on the periphery, edging closer as signs of life are evident. Because they're low. They're low on life. They're low on life. Okay, let's see what we got coming in here. Low on life. Maybe low on luck. Want to see if they can ride a little bit of that current you're going to have working for you here. Yeah, there's a lot that's transforming. You might have an old flame come around that's going to try to kiss up to you. They think that they can put you in the same position they had you before, like a sitting pigeon. This is something that I think in the past you used to give this a lot of power, whatever this is. This is kind of a big boss sort of energy too. It doesn't have to necessarily be somebody you were romantically involved with. It could be somebody who burned you before. It could be a boss that burned you before. Either way, whoever this character is, I do feel like they have that kind of, at least they used to have some kind of authority position. And they saw you more as just a carrier pigeon in a way. Somebody to do their bidding. They're bringing forward some kind of offer here that you're going to have to use your judgment on. It promises some kind of either instant success, maybe worldly advancement. Maybe they're sweetening the pot with some kind of material gift or incentive here. But you need to use your judgment about this before you jump on that train. It may not lead you where you think it's going to go. It may not be the gravy train. It may be a train that derails. There's something here that used to have a lot of power, but it doesn't have as much power as it used to have. And yet it's going to use its last little bit to see if it can best you. Burn you again or get you into a compromising position. You're really going to have to be aware of this. It is a kiss-up energy. So somebody's going to come bearing gifts, but it's because they know that they need to get some kind of favor through, they think, by giving some kind of incentive, all right? Some kind of incentive, crossing energy. This is coming at a time that you're starting to really start to explore new territory. There's a lot that's going to be happening for you during this cycle in the lead to that partial lunar eclipse in Pisces. This cycle, of course, got initiated with the total eclipse that we just had with the Leo new moon. So we're in eclipse season right now, and there's a lot of things that are just beginning right now, and things are closing up simultaneously. That's the way it always goes. Eclipses tie back to previous seasons of eclipses, but there's things that are being offered now, and some of these things are for us, and some of these things kind of keep us attached to an old reality, and it's up to us to make the distinction here. But there is something about, don't play it too safe. Playing it too safe can hold you back. There are legitimate ways to move forward here that are being sent in, and they may seem kind of out of the ordinary to you. They may require you to take a big leap or maybe go the distance, you know. But whatever's going down over the next few lunar cycles here, remember we had that like 8 weeks of steady progress coming in with the initiation of that Leo new moon. Over the next 8 weeks here, things are going to start to filter into your reality that are going to give you opportunity to explore territory you've never explored before. And this may kind of challenge your comfort. It may challenge your sense of security. You may feel like it's completely wandering into totally unknown territory, and it is, you know. But growth comes through challenging what is familiar and kind of stepping outside the box. There's some indication here that you absolutely should go the distance with one of these opportunities coming forward. It'll take you to some pretty far out places, man. It's going to introduce you to a whole new group of people, a whole new set of star mates. And there's progress here. Travel may factor in strongly. Travel may factor in strongly in this situation. I mean, for some of you, it could be an opportunity to travel and have a meeting in a certain room in relation to your career. Do be honest with yourself. If what's being put on the table feels like it's compensation, you know, for what you'll be bringing to the table in return. There's also something here about having good judgment about what you sign on for as well. Whatever this is, okay? I do feel like you're getting to the other side of something that had burned you. For some of you, it could be an old flame that just doesn't have the same power over you that it used to, or somebody who really did you dirty, that had you burning pretty mad for a while, and now it's just like there's space, there's distance, you know, it feels light years away from you, and you're entering a more progressive cycle where you're actually starting to feel like pretty good about where things are heading. You really feel like you turned a corner. There might be something coming from this quarter, whatever it is that's trying to kind of incite something to, maybe trying to distract you from what you're focused on here, because it looks like you're pretty tuned in, like you're trying to pick up the signal of the new. What's coming in here? What is the next place I need to go explore, whether that's in the mind or in the soul or emotionally or even in your material reality. I mean, I do feel like some of you will be taking a trip. You'll be going somewhere you've never been before. I feel also that what's coming in here is a trip. You've never experienced this before, and there are new people coming in too. There could be some looping back around. There could be, you know, one character here looping around that, you know, had a lot of power over you in the past, but I think you see what's in their hand, you know, and where it used to have the ability to cause like some kind of raging inferno. It just, it doesn't have the power, whatever this is, it doesn't have the power it once did. The flame card in this deck is about something that kind of comes in as a real devilish or tricky kind of influence. It comes in with guile, and it gives the impression that it's something that you should be really concerned about, or that you should bow down to. And really, whatever this is, no matter how tricky it may appear on the surface or whatever kind of power it appears that it has, it's really just masking something quite different. A lack of power, a lack of advantage, you know. That's why there's the kiss up energy. The kiss up energy wouldn't be there if this character, whoever they are, wasn't operating at some kind of disadvantage, okay? So do be aware of that, right? I do feel like this will go down in Leo season for sure. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Yeah, somebody here is on the take, you know. There's a little sneakiness here. There's a little sneakiness here. There's a couple people here that are trying to figure out how they can beat another to the punch. We've had this kind of energy come in. They see that you're making moves, but they don't really know what moves you're making. They just sense that something's shifting here for you. And they want to know what's up. But there's some sense of really having alignment here. And like I said, shoot for the moon, because you're not meant to be grounded here. It's like you're taking off. Some of you are taking flight. Some of you are going someplace, you know. You're going on a trip. And if you're not going on a trip physically, this is a trip. The people that you're coming into alignment with right now, these are part of the community that will be forging the path that you step on now, coming in with the wolf medicine here. You're moving together as a pack. There's been some kind of transformation that's taken place emotionally here. When these characters come in, there's instant soul recognition. There's awareness that something is really shifted within you too, to align with these people, to align with this cast of characters that form the next chapter in your storyline. An ongoing chapter. These are kindred souls too, and they are building blocks for your future. So there's synergy here. And there's a lot of helpful forces coming in that are creating these alignments. And again, see, it comes in with that energy of the moon. So there's something about this new cycle that we're initiating into as we move through this lunar cycle that is preparing to really help us make the distinction about what is kindred. Where do we feel that sense of kindred? soul recognition. And that doesn't just apply to people we align with, but also, what is my path of heart? What feels like my kindred path? What makes me feel really connected to the roots of who I am? And a lot of this is based very foundationally off of the work that we did with Aries and Chiron, the deepest wound of the self. And now we have an opportunity to really show what we value, what is of importance to us, what is worth our time, energy, and investment, by not aiming low, but aiming high in alignment with our higher ideals of what could be possible for our future. And what could be possible in the way we connect with others too. Because there is this like spirit of sharing here. There's a lot of communication that's activated. There's a change in feeling like you're kind of hung up at the crossroads. There's a choice that's going to be made this cycle. And certainly over the next 72 hours, you're going to have these themes coming up for you. Even if you don't have some kind of energy come forward, an old flame or somebody who burned you in the past, there's going to be some kind of reflection in relation to this where you're going to have a little bit of a laugh to yourself at something that at one point in your life you viewed it as like this big bad devil, and you just recognize this just doesn't have power over me anymore. This doesn't have power over me anymore. Yeah. Maybe there's a recognition of this too, because this big boss energy, I don't know. This big boss energy could be you, you know? Crow medicine is karmic law, spiritual law, higher law, you know? Maybe you're in this big boss energy now. You've had some wise judgment about the moves you made, and because of that, you know, your fortune's turning. So there could be somebody here who may have had you cast in the role of a sitting pigeon before, but now maybe they feel like they have to eat a little crow. Ooh, that's pretty tongue-in-cheek if it's coming in with an old flame. They may feel like they have to eat a little crow. Maybe they need your help with something. Okay, it's possible. You make your own judgments about that, whether you help this person or not. All right, this could be somebody that you feel got in your way of some kind of progression in your life, or somebody who ran off with something of yours, maybe, you know, ripped you off in some way, whether that's materially or emotionally, or just did something really foul. I don't know. This is up to you, though, to decide what you do, but do understand you're initiating into the mysteries of the moon. So that's a lot of confronting our blind spots. That's a lot of confronting hidden enemies. And you know what I always say here, the greatest enemy is the aspects of us that we don't make conscious. And then in doing so, we have to attract characters like this who can show up on our path to bring the heat of transformation. And it was 1808 on the clock there. Ooh, now we're really magnifying that energy of 808. You're on the right track, right? Only now it's coming in with that energy of the full moon, partial lunar eclipse in Pisces. I think there's also something that comes through here at this time where something might be painted like a real pretty picture, but it's only part of the story too, okay? Be aware of all of these things. Let's get some more details about this, okay? But I do feel like you are getting some keys here. But here's the deal. You got a lot of keys. You got a lot of keys of wisdom. You got keys that open up any door that you wish to explore. These are skeleton keys. But the thing is that not every door that gets lit up for you is the one that you should walk through. So that's what I feel is coming through here. It's sort of like a mixed bag of energies. There's some energies that are coming through like the wolf. They're coming through like the pathfinder to say, hey, look over here. You want to explore in this direction. 19 on the clock. This is something that will magnify your happiness. You'll find happiness in who joins you on this path too. There's camaraderie down this way. And then there's other doors that can be lit up through a little bit of glamour or the last little spark of power someone has left to try to take some kind of decisive action to come out of the shadows and maybe feed off a little bit of the light that you've generated here. But you've generated that light through what you transforms. This is, you know, a matter of you really considering too, if it's really helpful, you know, to deny someone the same opportunity you had to really get forged in the fire. I mean, sometimes you got to let people navigate things. Navigate things their own way. Again, there's something about being mindful about this. Be aware as well of wasting time. I don't know why I have the impression of just like multiple characters kind of all rushing to the same entry point. But there can't be delay. Like the way is only open for a certain amount of time. And I feel like you've already earned the key to get through this door of transformation that comes in with that full moon. So don't let yourself get distracted, or else you could miss, you know, an important meetup point. Yeah, everything could get all mixed up here. That's the trickiness of this devilish kind of energy. Something can really catch you up in the centrifugal force when I feel like you've been very much in the center, just kind of letting everything whirl around you. You've been in more of an observant space, and it's wise for you to still maintain that 21:33 on the clock. 333 coming in as a number of synchronicity. There's going to be a lot of communication coming in just from your impressions, and you shouldn't disregard your impressions, because usually when you first kind of pick up that initial hit, that's on the point. And if you feel like something's going to be trouble, then pay attention to that. There could be something here too about staying focused on the task at hand, not getting distracted, you know, being aware of people who come around that maybe want to splash some money, maybe want to get you kind of enticed to go out on the town and, you know, party a bit. And right now there's something about follow through. Follow through, because temptation can keep you out of certain rooms, okay? Yeah, temptation can keep you out of certain rooms. Right as you got free of a negative cycle, you could kind of jinx yourself here. That's what I got. I mean, you'll be responsible. You won't be able to blame anybody else. There's something here that it's like, no, it's not anybody doing, you know, any kind of voodoo on you or trying to work you or anything like that. Even if there were somebody out there that were up to that kind of funny business, it's really all about you and the power that you attribute it to, you know. Everything is generating from you, and there's something here about you got to make your own luck here, and it has everything to do with where you're focusing your time, your energy, and attention. I think you're really going to start to discover this, because something that used to have a great force over you, it no longer does. You're starting to understand a little bit more about where there is kind of like a shattering of what you thought your life would be like or how things would turn out. You're starting to realize how you fed into that illusion. You're looking at things more honestly. 13 is a power number, you know. This is something about really recognizing that you hold the power, not anyone who holds the little dolly in their hand. If somebody's got a little voodoo dolly of you that they're putting pins in, if they got a pretty little poppet with your name on it, will you really consider, is that somebody who's in a powerful position? Think about it. Obviously not. People who are really rooted in their power, in their strength, they don't got time for that. What do you care, you know, what's going on with whoever, you know? You're too focused on what you're doing. Yeah, look, you're too focused on what you're doing. People that are in their power know where they're going. They're going straight into the light of the sun here, you know? This is when you're really lined up for something beautiful coming totally into this place of recognition for you, like really having the breakthrough moment where the path opens, you finally know what's for you, you start coming into alignment with the right people, you got the keys, you need to open the doors. This is a successful cycle. There will be characters around you who may have trouble with it, you know? They don't want that for you. But the more that you give that credence or focus, the more that you will jinx yourself. You'll work against yourself in that way. And if you miss these opportunities because of that, because you're taking your energy to focus on some drama-rama rather than just staying focused on your path, you know, doing your work, you'll miss this opportunity and you'll have nobody to blame but yourself here, okay? This is all about you. You make your own luck, right? You really do. I do see a tempting influence coming in here. It would like to deceive you. It may want to come in between you and another in some way. Weaken through very subtle infiltration here. Whoever is doing this, this person ain't right, okay? This person ain't right. You know, something needs healing there, but you can't heal that person. If this cycle has already been digested, something is complete. I really feel this very strongly, and it will be absolutely evident by the time Leo season comes to a close how much this no longer has power over you. You're now moving towards your star. And I think you got a deal you've made here with Spirit. And while I do feel that there is a compromise with things that have been challenging in the past, it's not like, how can I put this? It's not like you're willing to enter into any kind of new agreements that you know are going to grab a hold of you and refuse to let go. It's like you just freed yourself from the pinchers. You're not going to allow yourself to get caught up again here. But there are influences that will try. It's up to you to act out of your self-knowledge here. Stay on track, okay? I do feel like you're finally in this place where you've really reached a place of balance within yourself, but, you know, you could get caught up in some illusions and thrown into confusion if you take the bait with whatever this is. I think it's best to just stay focused on where you're going right now and do what feels right. Don't do anything that you know makes you feel like you're being compromised, because I think it's uncomfortable and you'll know what's aligned for you. There's clear indication about what's aligned for you, and then there's, you know, what isn't. Okay? And I think that you're going to have to make a choice, you know. You're going to have to make a choice. And a lot of it really does revolve around you trusting yourself, trusting your judgment here. And also not co-signing on somebody's healing process, you know. Everybody needs to have the opportunity to rise into their power. You know, that's a personal journey. It's not something you can facilitate for another. In fact, that can really work against people. And it's not, you know, actually the loving thing to do. Or if there is some kind of aspect involved in this situation where there's something destructive going on, or somebody is operating out of a vice or some kind of addiction, you don't need to take that on. You know, that's actually not going to support this person getting free from this either. It's like you're contributing to what siphons the life out of them. So there's something here about getting a different look at what it means to be compassionate. You know, compassion doesn't mean that you have no sense. Compassion sometimes looks supremely fierce. In fact, sometimes to do the compassionate thing, it's a real tough judgment call. And so I do think there might be something here that does evoke this within you, because there is a power in this connection too. Okay, whatever this is, at least at one point, it had a lot of power over you. But maybe that's also part of the problem. You know, there never was a true sharing of power in this connection. It's not about one having power over the other. Whatever was going down in this connection here that's kind of coming forward again, somebody wanted to hold all the power. Somebody wanted to siphon the power, and you're just not in that place. You're all about sharing power, right? Not somebody having the upper hand. This was an unfair arrangement, and I am picking up tones that there could be something addictive or destructive about this that you do need to be aware of. I mean, there's illness here. There's illness manifest here. Illness manifest here. And it looks like, you know, the head is affected. The head is affected. So just be careful of what you consider being helpful, and how much does that actually serve your ego in some way, okay? It's something to consider. There's something about compassion, looking at compassion through a whole other angle, actually the more fierce side of compassion in this situation. Okay, cut of the deck. Let me see what we got here. You see? And then there can be a transformation. Do you see? 31, 33. That's beautiful. That turns the wheel of fortune. That brings Empress, Emperor energies into a state of balance. That's something that can bring a renewal of hope. You see, healing hurts, man. But the thing is you can't work something out in a situation with another if only one person has really gone through the fire and done all of the really deep, intense shadow work, and the other just kind of wants to ride off of that energy. They don't want to deal with any of the tough stuff. They just want to ignore it, and they want to just pretend like nothing happened, or let's just start fresh. And sometimes you can't do that. There's things that need to be navigated. But that's why it's important to let each individual go through their own growth process, go through their own healing process. And then things have an interesting way of balancing out as they're meant to. Whether you ever, you know, work it out in the physical with this person or not, it does get worked out on one lever. On one lever? On one lever. Lever, you know. Yeah, there's something about leverage. There's something about the machinations of a situation. Like something has been too mechanical. There is something that has operated more on that basis of leverage, like who holds the power. I'm going to take this action because it's going to put me in a stronger position. There's a little of this dynamic in whatever the situation is. And there's something here about, it's not about that, you know? It's not about that. This is about leveling up. You know, and it's about leveling up within ourselves so that we can meet others in that space and vice versa. It's an elevation of the energy, but there's no way to bypass the thorns if you want to get to something that is really the sacred, like heart fire that wants to be lit in this situation, or through a particular path of activation that you don't see right now. I don't think it'll come in until that moon. There's the 12 energy, 12th house energy. It's a blind spot. You gotta let it get lit up. You might have to ride the lightning. It might light your ass up, okay? I mean, this is something that's gonna take you by surprise. What moves forward, how it moves forward, okay? But that's one way to start a fire, okay? Yeah, there is something that is transformational here that's happening. Make sure you're grounded, man, okay? Because sometimes if things really get lit up, it can activate your nervous system, okay? So don't lose your head as this territory starts to, you know, really pick up the pace, because this is the kind of energy that's coming in. We are picking up the pace here. Let's check out what the Arcane BS has to say. In relation to this, all I know is we're going places. We're going places. Yeah, look at this. We're ready. We're feral. Our minds are turned on. We're facing our fears. We're ready to head into kind of sketchy territory where we don't know what's up ahead, but we're definitely ready to kind of heave ho what we've been nurturing for too long that's really outdated here. All right? We're thinking differently. We're thinking about the wild part of us that must be satiated and cannot arrive at that place of any kind of homecoming until the path less traveled has been explored. Okay, so there's something about this, like, you're not gonna embrace the familiar at this time. You want something completely different. Different things are exciting you, different things are turning you on, and I do feel like there's some character here. We got a feral nerd here that is really ready to face their fears, and they know they might get banged up a bit, but whatever is calling them forward, it's the call of the wild, and you know, it's lighting them up in such a way that they can't resist it. You know, they're gonna go there come hell or high water, and no matter how much somebody warns them, right? They may even be afraid that they're gonna get burned. I mean, this could be you. This could be you. You could be dealing with somebody that really, you know, excites you, turns you on. There could be something about the situation that's a little bit complicated. You know, it could be an infinite cosmic mess, but at the same time, maybe it needs to get messy. I mean, there's a lot of heart energy coming in here. Yes, it does spiral something new in. Yes, there may be eyes on you. There may be eyes that despise what they see going down. What do you care? None of that matters. I do think something here is a little messy, but it's also creative, you know? There's like 3 timelines colliding, and it's a bit messy here. I also feel like something's messy because there's multiple people that want to get somewhere first to offer the rose. You know, they're willing to go against the stream. They're willing to fight the current to get there. There's some kind of convergence point here. It's a little messy. Things come a bit undone. Things come a bit undone on the road to the stone of destiny. And there's also something here where somebody's tired of taking a gentle approach. I mean, I do see this like stag energy here too. And when I think of the stag, I mean, the stag does come through as kind of a regal energy, but it's still deer medicine. And deer medicine is compassion, and deer medicine is gentleness. And yeah, there's something about that to bring this together too, and to pull a diamond in the rough out of the void. You may have to really deal with something head on. It's got the energy of like a collision, but the collision breaks open something that, I don't know, breaks open the roadblocks, okay? Road opening energy. And I mean, some way, somehow, somebody does get the rose here. They get the sweetness of the bloom, but it's because they were willing to fight the current. They had determination. They want this new beginning. It's going to get messy, though. I do feel it's going to get messy. But you know what? Metamorphosis is messy. It does get messy. There's no way to totally transform without it getting a little messy. Things have to come undone to come together in a new form. I think there's 3 paths that you're going to explore, and then it's sort of like a critical juncture here where you have to make a decision. You got to set your sights on one path. You know, maybe you're figuring out a way to undress that salad like we were talking about and just take the best elements of the salad forward to kind of create, you know, something entirely new. Maybe there's a little bit of this timeline, a little bit of this timeline, a little bit of this timeline. I just want to take these bits. I don't want all of it. I just want a little bit of it. How can we make this work? Yeah, look, it's like what makes the cut, what doesn't with the decision maker here. Really getting to the root of what's complicated, what needs to go, what's causing confusion. This is a choice that's made with a lot of awareness here. And whatever doesn't make the cut, it's fine. It needs to fall into the recesses of the past because you're trying to root something new here. But it's messy. It's a little explosive. Okay? It's also a surge of power too, you know. It's really finally being rooted in your essence, reconnecting. You're finally in that place where you're like, yes, it took a lot of determination, but I know who I am, and I arrived there after facing the sharp edge of a lot of uncomfortable truths. And now that I know where my north node is, I am not going to move from this spot. I'm 10 toes down. There's like a certainty here. Look at all the truths you're holding. You've had to confront a lot of truths. You're standing on those truths. There's something here. You earned your spot. Coming through big Aries energy. Don't have time for the meaningless garbage. Gonna bag it up, toss it out. You may be bagging up a lot of stuff. You may be tossing a lot of stuff. Stuff that at one point you thought, I need all this stuff. You're starting to realize material things don't mean as much to you as they used to. There's certain things you thought that you needed. You started to realize these things are nothing but chains. They actually inhibit my freedom. I'm chained to these things. They weigh me down, you know? And I think there's a new relationship you're really formulating here with technology. What does it mean to advance? What does it mean to have success? You know, you're taking the more scenic route here. You're being more conscientious about what you're creating moving forward here. And there is a wild part of you that needs to awaken, but there's something here. It's kept you too docile. It's a belief. It's some kind of false sense of obligation. It's an old way of moving through the world. It's conforming yourself to others' ideals for you, societal ideals, or what this person thinks you should do. And there's something here where it's like you gotta fly real high at this time to kind of pan out and really get a lay of the land and get some distance from what has kept you kind of restrained for too long, because you're breaking chains here. This is not going to have power over you anymore. Also, there could be something explosive going on online. There could be something that is revealed online. Something secret is seen. There could be like secret online groups that are infiltrated and like all the stuff is splashed out there online. On a more macrocosmic level. I'm even feeling like this could be, you know, stuff that's been going on behind the scenes online, even within your communities being revealed. You know, you might have had suspicions about this kind of stuff. You knew there was something going on. You were right. You're going to have it confirmed. You know, there's like interesting stuff going on online. Might start some flame wars. I think, you know, don't get all caught up in that. Don't be like the hare. Don't feel like you have to get in the thick of it and, you know, get into some kind of weird, you know, tit for tat. Don't join in with that. Just keep plugging along, man, like the tortoise, and you're going to get there while all those other characters are still caught up in, you know, proving who's right. You know? Just continue doing your thing, okay? I feel like you're in a good spot as long as you don't get caught up in stuff that is meant to distract. And sometimes that is, you know, that is the ruse, that is the hook. It's the provocation. It makes you feel like, oh, I gotta defend myself, or, you know, I can't let them get away with that. It's like, don't validate it. It's bullshit. Don't validate it. Yeah, don't take the bait. You're gonna get courted into. You got nobody to blame but yourself if you take the bait. Don't fall for the temptation. That's what brings you to your knees. And then, just as you have your road opening, you're finally like back in your power, and you're affecting a change in your life, and you're ready to step into new things. Now you got to pull all this out by the root again, and it's feeding on your brains, and it's blocking your voice and your purpose and your true expression, and it's making you feel drained of your power. Like, you know, don't fall for the temptation. It's just not worth it, okay? Cut the deck. Yeah, the greased priest, okay? There's somebody here that might be admonishing you, or they might be casting judgment on you, or they may think that they are somehow holier than you, or know better than you, or they're passing some kind of moral judgment on you, or they're trying to shame you, or whatever this is. And whoever this is, it's like, if you only knew what was hiding in their closet. This is a slick character, and that book they're holding is full of secrets, but not sacred secrets. Stuff they don't want you to know. And that's why they're trying to put you down. That's why they're trying to cast, you know, shame on you. That's why they're slinging all that BS at you, because they want you to come down to their level, you know, and sacrifice some kind of peace that you found. And really, it's not peace with anyone outside of yourself. It's peace within yourself, which, ironically, when you find peace within yourself, you automatically have peace with everything around you. You know, that's why it's always an inside job. That's why it's always an inside job, you know? Yeah, don't take this as you're going through your metamorphosis. Don't waste all of this creative potential spilling these secrets, you know, to people who don't even respect the value of what you would share authentically with them. It's almost like these are people who write down, you know, everything you tell them just so they can remember what they need to, you know, expose to expose to others to have the upper hand. You know, this could be somebody who's done that to you. You know, this could be somebody who's like making a lot of judgments about you, and yet they took things that you shared with them in confidence, very private, personal things that are intimate. And they use those things against you, but they want to pretend like they're somehow in the right in this situation. It's like somebody may be seen for what they've really been up to. So if you've been dealing with a situation like that with a crafty character who, you know, plays like they're Mr. or Miss Goody Two-Shoes, you know, there might be something really coming forward showing like how this person has really been disrespectful, you know. Yeah, Saturn's calling. There's work to be done. You don't get to play the martyr, you know. You don't get to play the martyr when you made somebody else a sacrifice. It doesn't work like that. And there has been something that's been sitting for too long. And that's why I think somebody is going to take a flying leap to risk it all, you know. Somebody does recognize that time is passing by. Somebody does recognize that a matter that needs attending to has been festering for way too long. And it's like Saturn retrograde in Aries is really going to put on the heat. You know, where there's grease, there's fire. So there's fire. There's you know, really something that could become inflammatory if it doesn't get attended to. So it's like, get ahead of this, whatever this is, whoever that applies to, okay? That could be somebody that knows, you know, Or this could be a person you're dealing with. But there could be somebody, I mean, it seems like it's somebody in the collective knows, you know, that they're leaving something left unattended that needs to be addressed. And it's important that they address it, because in the wrong hands, it's inflammatory. Yeah, we got a King of Wands in the shadow to a Queen of Wands in the light. All right, there's an action that needs to be taken to create transformation. The action has not been taken. The action has been postponed due to somebody wanting control. By refraining from taking this action, doing what needs to be done to shed light on a situation. There's been too much withholding as a means of control in a situation. Fire forward very strongly here. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, okay? This is somebody who's been misusing power in some way. Very aware of what they feel. Very aware of the emotional component. Knowing what would be the thing to do. Coming from a transformed space, a healed space. Not wanting to do it, because to do it is almost like an admission of having not acted out of the power in the past, not wanting to make that confession through taking the action that comes from a transformed space. And the irony of that is it's only holding them back. It's only holding them back. Wow. It's preventing the wheel of fortune from turning. It's creating stagnancy, missed communication, confused communication, tons of blockage. I mean, I think there's a direct confrontation with this, how much blockage there is in this lunar cycle for those moving like this. It's kind of undeniable, you know, it's like everything is starting to dry up, and it's because there's the inability to transform, because it feels like making a concession. How? That's so weird. Yeah. No, I'll just forgo the celebration. Instead, I'll feel bitter about what didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, and I'll stay stuck in this place where, you know, I'm just living out memories of when things were good. This is something that is rather convoluted. It's convoluted because of too many cooks in the kitchen, whatever this is, too many outside opinions, too much involvement that is like superfluous, that's created a lot of blockage. The road is blocked. Somebody's going to confront a lot of blockage here. Could be somebody you're dealing with. If you feel like you're already dealing with this, it has something to do with an action that you know you need to take that you're not taking. Because there's something about it that feels like an admission that, okay, maybe I didn't get it right back there, all right? But if you have the strength, look, if you open up, if you communicate about it, if you take the action, you can transform it. This is your chance during this lunar cycle, man. You do have the strength to face this. You do have the strength to transform. Coming in real strong with Leo energy there. Okay. Let's see what we got. Yeah, you do have the ability to move out of your head and move into the heart. And that's the clue. You do have the ability to stop thinking about something and actually take action on it. But it's only until you get out of your head and you take the action that you're going to experience the transformation. And holding in the emotions, not wanting to reveal what you feel, not wanting to communicate about it. Afraid that if you speak honestly, there's something about that that's disarming in a way that makes you feel like you lose power. And right there, that's a manipulation. And there's something here that I do feel like you're transforming, okay? You are transforming. It's also about trusting your intuition here too. And you got to get out of your head. There can't be orchestration around this. You have to really respond from a more heart-informed place and trusting what you're feeling. We're really moving through that territory right now where you've got to get in that melding point. I mean, we had the Leo new moon, which is fire. And then we have the Pisces full moon that is the water energies. That's that transformation point. Yeah, we've got a lot of shadowy stuff coming through here right now. Something just fell away on the ground. Yeah, whatever this is, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. However you've been trying to navigate this, this doesn't work. You got to come at this from a new angle. Whatever you're doing doesn't work. You come at it from a new angle, the new beginning's right there. Instantly, you get an opportunity, but it does require you to transform. How does it require you to transform? No more safe spaces, okay? It's never going to be a safe space, okay? You got to transform what has been out of balance. You can't just say, oh, you know, forget it. I don't need to look at that. No, you do. It needs to be completed before your road will open. As soon as you deal with it, you know, or whoever this character is, this could be somebody connected to you. Until they deal with it, there's not going to be any moving forward. But I feel like once this comes forward, it shifts things radically. Okay, whatever side of this you're on. That Cancerian energy coming in here. Let's do a cut of the deck on this. Get some more details. There's that block, but right now, blocks, water sign energies, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, strong Cancer here, okay? There's blocks to what you desire. You need to look at it from a new angle. Pisces energy. So this is a collective energy. You have to understand, moving up to this full moon, this is the challenge here, you know? You have to figure out, where am I blocked? Where am I not responding to what my intuition is telling me? Where am I not trusting my own feelings about something? Where am I refraining from taking action that I know I need to take? Maybe toward a particular dream I have, or maybe in healing something, maybe in communicating something to another that I need to communicate. Or if you are somebody who took an action, you know, that you regret in the past, because now after doing some healing work, you see things in a new way. You recognize, I need to make that right, you know. It's not delaying it. That's the solution. That's what gives the new opportunity, and that's part of the initiation. And for each one of us, this plays out in a different way. I mean, some of you are dealing with this in relation to a very specific relationship, and for others of you, it's a life choice that you're trying to make. And you've been too in your head, and you might have been really compromising a lot for the sake of other people, and thinking that that was the compassionate thing to do. But there's something about that compassion is incomplete. It's not taking you into account. You know, your compassion has to include you as well. And where you are dealing with a situation where there's some kind of addiction, or there's something really destructive going on, you continuing to bail somebody out who's, you know, repeatedly thrown into crisis, or throwing everybody else around them into crisis, or causing a lot of drama, or doing something that you know is extremely unethical, and they want you to bail them out and support them, or take part in it in some way for some kind of incentive. This is a hard no. Hard no. It leads to a path of disillusionment and lunacy, you know, not in the positive respect, not in the great mystery and all things that are poetic and of the soul's longing, but stuff that drives people mad, in delusion, in addiction, in illusion. Like these things are really being confronted. When they're confronted during this lunar cycle, then the blocks are removed. There's no way to bypass this whatsoever. The devil must be confronted so the chains can be broken. But if you do, then you finally step into your worldly power. In other words, you've done enough making the subconscious conscious that now you get it. You're like, okay, now that I see the ways that I block myself, I can really bring my power forward in a way where I'm really centered in the clarity of who I am, where I don't allow myself to be swayed by the pull of provocation, where I don't get caught up in the programming, where I don't take the bait and get pulled into dramas or things that are out of alignment with my sense of integrity. And then I see my world transformed. What I see happen in my life is totally different. I'm not oppressed anymore. I'm in my strength. I'm in my empowerment. That is the message of the devil card. When you see the devil's not here to be like, oh, I'm this horrible, bad thing on your path and I bring nothing but destruction. No, the devil is actually trying to help light your ass up here to say, look at what you're up to. You're going to feel the burn until you make it conscious. Only then can you break your chains. Until then, you continue to be chained. You continue to be chained to your post. Everything is blocked for you until you have the willingness to look at it, to light it up. Once you do, your reality changes as a result. So there's a lot of personal accountability coming through here. You cannot pass the buck. No scapegoats. The only way that you're going to get this brand new beginning and see your world transformed is you got to do this work. So there's some way here you've been holding yourself back. It's really important to figure out what's going on there, okay? What's going on there? I don't know if I cut the deck already or not. Sometimes when I get in the flow, this happens. So let me do another cut of the deck just in case. Yeah, okay, so there's something that needs to change in our worldview. There's some way that we're viewing possibilities for ourselves, or there's something that we're focused on here, we're fixated on here, where it's not allowing us to really see the possibilities before us, see? But once you really uproot that, you look at what's buried there and you bring it to the surface, then you'll have clear judgment. And the judgment will be in your favor. The road will open. The walls that we're blocking will come tumbling down. When the walls come tumbling down, that song, okay? When the walls come tumbling down, okay? There's going to be some kind of wall, some kind of barrier, something that's finally going to come tumbling down here. Something that's held you back for a long time. And there's going to be a moving forward. I got something about walls coming down too in terms of political negotiations in some sector here. I do want to get around to cartomancy just to cap this off. Okay, I'm kind of doing a little bit longer of a drop in tonight for this portal report, but I just kind of feeling the flow of it. So let's see what comes in. Any further details here? I think I'll also bring in a roll of the dice and a little ERISIAN Spirit Board action. Anything else here? Anything else? You want us to be live to Spirit? I'm just going to do one round of cartomancy just to kind of like cap off this message, because I feel like that's pretty complete. Got Sagittarian coming in there with judgment, right? So I do feel like you'll arrive at the correct judgment. There is transformation here and there's renewal. There is renewal, but it's going to be dicey. It's going to be dicey. And there may be some, you know, that out of fear, they hold themselves back. So don't be afraid of getting into the thick of it, and don't be afraid of really following what's lighting you up right now. You gotta just give it a shot, man. You only got one shot. Yeah, follow your heart, man. You only got one shot. You don't want to miss this opportunity. You really don't. Because when the call comes, you have to really just fully step into this. You can't be guarded in any way. When it's your time, you know, you got to be able to rise to that call. Look at this. King of Clubs in the light. This is the heart fire. This is the heart fire. Okay, this is that thing that's worth defending to the end. Right? Fire merging with the water here. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. There's something here that really makes you feel like, okay, maybe it is possible to really anchor a dream here. Like maybe I really can solidify something here. And it comes through actually recognizing what's been creating the blockage. Okay? What's been creating the loss? What's been creating repeat endings in a situation? It's something that does need to be closed properly. It does need to be something that needs to be addressed properly. There's an action that needs to be taken here in order for this to happen, to end the stagnation. It's causing this like repeat loop of the same shit over and over and over and over again. And the more you see it, the more it strengthens that neural loop. And so you keep anticipating the same thing. You keep calling in the very thing you don't want. It's happening on repeat here. 18 energy. It's the delusion of the moon. It could be something addicting. It could be something that's weaving a bit of glamour. Whatever it is, it's causing real severe disappointment and loss here. It is a little tricky. It's a little bit of that devilish energy here, and a choice needs to be made. And the choice needs to be something you haven't done up to this point, which is really moving away from this influence, this energy, by taking an action. See, you got to root it in the physical here. We got the masculine coming forward very strongly, which lets me know the path needs to be open. The heart needs to align with the will and the determination to take the action, to do what one knows is the right thing to do, but has been refraining from doing it because in doing the right thing, it automatically, it's really weird the way it's coming in, but I know it's going to make sense to who it makes sense to. By doing the right thing, there's an admission that I did the wrong thing before. And that's what somebody doesn't want to do. But I do see them following through because this is it actually happening. The materialization of the heart and the will forging together to take the action to solidify it. All right. And we got a Queen of Clubs here in the shadow. Okay. So again, it is coming through as not wanting to reveal one's hand, not wanting to reveal the emotional vulnerability that comes with admitting that, okay, maybe I was a little controlling, or maybe I did act selfishly, or maybe I did do something back there that I shouldn't have done, or I was trying to create problems for you, or I was really angry at you and I was trying to get revenge. Like it's this kind of energy. It's not wanting that emotional authenticity to come forward. And yet it's the very thing that creates balance in the situation. It turns the wheel of fortune and rectifies what's been some kind of misalignment here. And finally, the way through becomes very simple. It becomes very clear. The blind spot, what's been causing misalignment, it's lit up. All right. 12th house energy. All right. There is this quality here of some sense of control, greed, selfishness. Something here has been limiting an individual's ability to step into greater expansion. It's what's been creating just the same view on repeat and what feels like an injustice to you. But there's something really about needing to take personal accountability for the ways that you betray yourself. When you don't go through with what you know you need to go through with. There's something here you know you need to do and you're not doing it. And that can be different for each one of us, you know, whatever this is. It could be something as simple as you know that you have certain unhealthy habits, things that you need to change. You know what you need to do. You're not doing it. You're not doing it for whatever reason. Maybe for selfish reasons. I just don't want to, you know. And yet there's some way that by you not doing those things is compromising, you know, to other people around you, okay? Make the investment. You won't regret it. You make the investment where you feel really held back, all of a sudden you'll be able to transform it and you'll have justice. You'll have alignment. But it's not going to happen if, you know what you need to do and what needs to transform and you refuse to act on it. All right? You got to face the fear. You got to take the leap. You take the leap and everything transforms. All right? Everything transforms. And you can bring an end to that real rough cycle, man. And it brings about a new beginning. So let the new beginning come on through. Yeah, you got to make the investment. So I do see you investing in something here where you may not have been taking action by the time you arrive at that full moon, partial lunar eclipse in Pisces on the 28th or the 27th, depending on where you are in the world. You are making an investment to head in a certain direction because you want to recover what you feel you lost. It's sort of coming through like you had to feel like you lost it to really understand its worth so you could gain it. And you never would have secured it any other way. Right? There's something really interesting brewing here, and it's going to be very different for each of you, but I'm sure you have hints of what this is, and if you're the one who's being approached by somebody, you're going to know exactly what this is when it arrives on the scene. Move mindfully. Even if you think you got it all figured out, I mean, you may not. You open up your mind to exploration with this energy. And above all, just, trust your own impressions with it. All right, let's get some numbers of interest here. All right, we got life path 4, life path 8, life path 6, life path 2, life path 1. All right. Looks like you all are moving forward here. We got the energy also of Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Okay, wow. So all the earth energy really holding it down right now. That's real good. We also got Scorpio here. Coming in pretty strongly. And then we do have a little bit of, yes, there's ability to move forward, but first there needs to be a determination about what needs to be transformed. Got double 5s here, also coming in with life path 1, real emphasis on life path 5. We got Leo energy there, okay? There's something that needs to be addressed during Leo season to be able to move forward. It's in a different way than you have before. This is the lessons of Chiron and Taurus, okay? Now it's really time that we show that we understand what's worth investing our time and energy in. And also, not only that, but what do we value? What values us in return, okay? It's going to be put to the test. We got High Priestess energy. This is about really not casting your pearls before swine. This is acting out of your wisdom. It's trusting your intuition. It's coming from a more embodied place of knowledge rather than so cerebral here to find the path forward. all water sign energies, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. We got big Emperor energy on the scene, big Aries energy. I mean, makes sense. We got Saturn, Neptune retrograde in Aries. This is about the activation of your dreams. To overcome the challenges that we've been taught moving through the mysteries of the House of Scorpio, there really is a need to be able to make the unconscious conscious and transform that. There's no more living in the shadow. It's necessary. Until this is really done, there can be no change. You don't have the keys you need to really transform the situation or find your way through that gateway of initiation. We do have Wheel of Fortune energy here, though, if there is a willingness to really look at something differently and bring it up into the light of day, to not conceal, to not move secretly, to not wear masks, to come forward in a very transparent way and just be like, this is it. This is me. This is what I really feel, man. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly of it. And there's something there when all artifice falls away that really does create transformation in a situation. We've got big Sagittarius here, big Sagittarius energy. We also got the energy of the moon coming through very strongly. So the moon is really affecting us at this time as we're moving through this eclipse energy. That full moon is really wrapping up quite the karmic cycle. It is really putting like that final period at the end of a statement. It's coming through as, and that with that, you know, that book is closed and a new book opens. All right. We got Leo energy coming through as strength. That can also be Libra energy with the 8 energy. We've had that kind of coming in for a while, that interplay between strength and justice. This energy coming forward, certainly. And a lot of real recognition of our blind spots and the hidden elements that are holding us back from transforming the past and moving forward into the future. But we're getting what we need to make that possible. I'm seeing this here too with Capricorn energy front and center. This is about really changing ourselves down to the very root of who we are, and that thereby changes how we're perceived, how we're seen, and also what we see in the world around us. And there is judgment coming through here. All of this that's on the board adds up to judgment. So I do feel like we are going to move forward. But first we have to wrench the fabric of what's been holding us in place for too long. There is some way that we are holding ourselves back, and it requires an action on our part. And that story is going to be different for each and every one of us. All right. And we've got the 7th house of Libra, relationships front and center, business relationships, romantic relationships, relationships where it's all on the line. Also open enemies, what we perceive as the enemy. Again, remember, use it as a tool for transformation by looking within. Work, daily routine, your habits are in need of reflection for what needs transformation. Okay. Also, this is about adopting more of a community mindset, looking beyond just your own experience, considering other people who are important to you moving forward here. We got the 9th house of Sagittarius, you know, needing to adopt more of a pragmatic view, having a little bit more optimism, enthusiasm, a little bit more daring, willing to explore uncharted territory, willing to move into more of the expansion phase here. But in order to move into that expansion, there is something we need to wrench the fabric of, and it's something that's acted as an authority. And that authority could be a false perception we have. It could be a non-negotiable belief that we hold that maybe, you know, we're getting a little view through a different window in the grid, and it's transforming our reality tunnel, and with that it's opening up new opportunities, right? So a lot of transformation underway right now, going down right now in August. The transformation will continue through October. October is going to be a really pivotal month where everything kind of comes to a head. There's something that is harvested there. You'll know what the judgment is. You'll know what your lot is come October. So do be aware of how you set that up now. The foundation for it is being laid right now. Okay. And let's go ahead and get some letter messages, and then we'll cap this off. Yeah, and that came in at 1:19:42 on the clock. So yeah, trust the moves you need to make, and trust the power you hold to make those moves wisely, ethically. And be aware of your motivations. If you want to get free of those crossroads, you have to act from a place of self-knowledge. Really important. But there's happiness on deck and a turning of the Wheel of Fortune if you play your cards right. Okay. I got BB King coming in here. So got a little bit of the blues coming through. Somebody's got a bit of the blues. Somebody's been singing the blues. Somebody may have been listening to some BB King. Somebody may be a guitarist, maybe a musician, right? Maybe you've been holding yourself back from bringing your music forward. You need to take the leap. Or maybe you just need to get in touch with what you're feeling. I feel like whoever this is for, you've been humming a particular tune. Like you have a tune stuck in your head. There's something that you may be really drawn to the blues too. There might be something about that. You have some kind of tune some melody that you've been humming, and you've been meaning to work on that. You've been meaning to lay down that track. You haven't been doing it. It's time to do it. It's time to bring it through. You don't understand that that's your way through. It's like you've been asking, what's the next step? What's my path, you know? What's my purpose? This song? Yeah, this song. You're supposed to create this song. There's something about this song. It's a breakthrough moment for you. Whoever that's for, it's something that, you know, it's been in your consciousness for a while. You keep humming it to yourself, but you haven't like actually pulled out your guitar and like worked on it. You haven't actually laid down the track. You haven't even written the lyrics for it, you know? It's something deep in you though, and it's like when you put words to it, it really hits. Ooh, it hits. It hits a spot. Maybe that's what you've been avoiding, you know, because it hits a real sensitive place in you, or there's something about the power of it, you know. There will be visibility around it too. It's coming through as hit and see. Like if you bring this out, it's also like very exposing. I feel like it lets people see a part of you you've never shared with anybody. I also feel like the song will be a hit. It will hit for a lot of people. Like there's a lot of people that will be able to relate to it. You know, music heals. I got California coming in around this, okay? There could be somebody in California that needs to actually lay down this track. You'll know if it's you. There's something about don't let this die in you. Don't let this die in you. Because it's like the key to your life. Don't let this die in you. All right? Okay, let me see what else we got coming in here. If there's anything else. Oh, Mr. Ted's wanting in. Just a second here. All right, Ted, come on. He just wants to join me. Oh, how lovely is that? Mr. Ted wants to just join us here. I love that. Okay. He wants to hang out. Okay. That's interesting. I got tape. There's a lot of kind of like musical stuff coming out. Somebody may be coming across an old mixtape or an old videotape. It takes you back to a specific date and time. It's strange the way you're coming across this. It might cause you to look somebody up that you haven't looked up in quite a while. You'll be surprised what happens when you make that contact. See if I can get some names around that. I got Candy. Andy, tastes like candy. Candy Rain, okay. Kendra. Got Cape. Cape. Not all heroes wear capes. Not all heroes wear capes. Tia. Not all heroes wear capes. Tina. Huh. I got the name Tim. I also got something about time, timing. A lot of time has gone by. A lot of time has gone by since we first laid eyes on each other. Let's set a date. Let's set a date to link up for old time's sake. Somebody wants to link up. Somebody may contact you through LinkedIn. If you're on LinkedIn, a higher up may be offering you an opportunity. It's coming through as a man. A man contacting you, bringing an opportunity. This may be requiring you go to LA, Los Angeles, kind of coming through in relation to this. You might have to travel somewhere to get all the details of what's on the table in relation to this. Some kind of opportunity. You may be waiting for details in relation to a job opportunity in LA, where you've been wondering if it's a go. I do feel like you're going to get a yes. I got the name Allie coming through with that. I also have ally. There's some assistance you're getting here. You got a strong ally in your corner. When it comes to signing off on a deal here, I got ink, okay? It's like I'm seeing it as like signing off on a deal here. You're absolutely going to say yes to this, whatever it is. It's a go. This could be, for some people, something in the entertainment industry. I got something about a timeshare too, a timeshare. I got hula here, so it could be a timeshare in Hawaii. Somebody's going to go and spend some time at the timeshare in Hawaii. Maybe they've been ailing a little bit. They've been away from their family for too long. They feel like they just need to kind of like drop in, restore themselves, spend some time by the sea. Okay. All right. That's what I got. I hope that serves you all well and that you were able to get some messages from it that can support you this lunar cycle. We're all going to be navigating this territory together. But it does look like things are starting to transform here. Things are starting to turn around. So make sure, you know, where you know there's something you need to do, now's the time to do it. Don't live in regret, all right? Because there's something about the opportunity won't come back around. Maybe not for a long time, maybe not at all if you miss this this particular juncture. And there is something here about, you know, it's time to shine, all right? It's time to shine. It's not time to be in the shadows anymore. It's time to step into the light. So it really does imply like we can't kind of like keep these dreams dormant within us anymore. We're really meant to activate them and make them reality. And I got like Capricorn energy coming through pretty strong here too, right? So that house of Capricorn, the 10th house, has really activated this cycle. It has a lot to do with how we're showing up in the world and how people perceive us. And that begins with how we perceive ourselves and what we allow people to see, right? So if you're wanting to shift your world and how you're perceived, there's something about coming forward and real stripped down authenticity, you know? And the fourth degree of Pisces, the Sabian symbol for that is really about that. It's about stripping away artifice and letting yourself be seen. So shine a light. Shine a light on those places that have been concealed, because what they reveal are about to be the turning point for you. You got what it takes. Godspeed.